Hello everyone, today we are in a Volvo XC90 T8 Recharge Inscription, and we are going to teach you how to use Volvo's Adaptive Cruise Control and Pilot Assist. So the controls for this system are going to be here on the left side of the steering wheel. These two arrows kind of change what mode we're in. So as you can see here on the dash, I can have it just in the regular adaptive cruise control mode or in the pilot assist mode. So the difference here, the adaptive cruise control is the cruise control system that uses the vehicle's forward-looking cameras and sensors to maintain a distance and speed up and slow down in accordance with what the car in front of us is doing. If we put it in the pilot assist mode, this is a lane centering mode. So when you're in pilot assist, it does the same thing that the adaptive cruise control system does, but it also helps to control the steering to keep you centered in your lane. Again, it uses the vehicle's cameras and Volvo's IntelliSafe system to look forward and do that. Now, on this particular car, it does not have any self-driving capabilities. You're still meant to watch the road ahead of you, and if you're using the pilot assist system, which is the system we're going to use during this demonstration, you still need to keep your hand on the wheel and control the steering. If you do take your hands off of the steering wheel, the car will get upset with you and tell you to use some steering inputs. So again, not self-driving, it's just kind of a driver assist system. So the way we control it, once we get out on the road, we push that little button, the speedometer button, to activate the whole thing and turn it on. Once it's activated, we can hit plus to increase our speed. We can hit minus to decrease the speed that we have it set to. Again, these arrows go through the mode. We'll be using pilot assist just because it does both. This changes the following distance. So we can make the following distance longer or shorter by using these little buttons right here. This shortens the following distance. This lengthens the following distance. And then the little arrow like that is to resume cruising if you have to hit the brake, or if the vehicle brings itself to a complete stop, which this system is capable of doing in traffic, then you can either push that button to resume cruising, or if it's brought itself to a complete stop, you can just tap the gas pedal and that will resume cruising as well. And if you need to take control of the system for any reason, you'll notice there's no cancel button or anything here. Just hit the brake pedal. That will cancel the adaptive cruise and put you back in control of the car. So with all that being said, let's get this beauty out on the road and demonstrate the system for you. All right, so here we go. We are out on the road. We are just going to push the little speedometer button to set the speed, and then we will watch the road ahead and see if it will lock onto a car. Now you can see the little graphic right there underneath the speedometer. The little icon of the car means that we are seeing a car in front of us and we're locked on. The one bar right there means I have it set to the shortest following distance. And the gray steering wheel indicates the pilot assist system is on, but it's not active because it can't read the lane lines well enough. If it was active, it would be green. So this is what it looks like in real life. We are locked on to the car in front of us and just following along. I currently do not have my foot on the gas pedal or the brake pedal, but I do have my hand on the steering wheel. I am watching the road ahead of me, and I can see up ahead the stoplight has turned yellow, so I'm expecting traffic to come to a stop, and it is slowing. The car is braking on its own. I am not hitting the brakes. We are down to 8 miles per hour. And creeping, we will go to a complete stop. And that's how it works. I'm a big fan of these adaptive cruise control systems. That's why I make these videos, to try to show people how they work and take some of the fear out of using it for the first time. So again, this car's brought itself to a complete stop. I don't have my foot on the brake. I'm just sitting here waiting. I can see the light up ahead has turned green, so I will wait for traffic to proceed forward. And once it does, I'm just going to push that button right there, the little circle button with the arrow on it on the steering wheel, and we are moving forward up to our predetermined speed. I'm going to hit the plus button to increase it a little bit. I'm going to set it to 45, which is slightly over the posted speed limit here, but when traffic gets going on this particular road, that's kind of what you need to do to keep up with it. And at this point, we're just letting the car in front of us set the pace. So that's fine. Now, a few things to keep in mind. So on that last one, when the stoplight turned red, the car brought itself to a complete stop only because the car in front of us went to a complete stop. This system does not recognize stoplights. So if the light ahead of you turns red and you're not locked onto somebody and you're not following them, it's gonna keep going because it doesn't know about red lights. Now here we go. This person's getting out of the way. So now we have an open road. The car is going to accelerate up to 45 miles an hour because that's where I have my speed set. And then it is just going to stay at 45 miles per hour. So it will not exceed that limit. Now here we go. We are coming up to traffic and I am just going to kind of hit the brake. One thing to keep in mind, the adaptive cruise control system, now I hit the brake and took control of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this little resume button right here. So now we are cruising again. It's meant to be locked on to the car in front of you, as it is now. Again, we can see on the graphic right there, we're locked onto the car in front of us. I can also see it on my heads-up display. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera. But that's what it's meant to do. If you're going full bore towards dead stopped traffic, that's not the condition that the system is meant to function properly in. My advice there always is to just hit the brakes, take control of the car, bring it to a safe stop. Don't rear end anybody in front of you. I can now see the stoplight up ahead has turned red. So the truck in front of us is slowing down and we are coming to a complete stop. Excellent. This system does its best work in like heavy stop and go freeway traffic. I always film these how-to videos on surface streets because it's quite frankly easier to get cars to come to a complete stop to make my instructional videos. It's less predictable on the freeways. What I'm going to do just for fun is I'm going to hit this button and lengthen out the, let's see, we'll put it at 3 bars instead of 1 bar. So we're going to maintain a little bit longer of a following distance. Another thing to keep in mind, the type of vehicle that we're following. So right now we're just behind some kind of a delivery truck, pretty normal shape, easy for the car to lock onto. Traffic starts moving, I tap the gas. However, if that was, say, the example I always use, a flatbed delivery truck with nothing on the bed of the truck, is the car locked on to the actual rear end of the truck or on the back of the cab? So you got to keep that in mind, what you're following. If it seems to be getting too close to an oddly shaped vehicle in front of you, then keep that in mind as well and make adjustments as necessary. You can see we're maintaining a longer following distance now because we use those buttons to change that setting. On freeways, I always recommend using shorter following distances because at least where I live in Southern California, in the medium to heavy traffic that I experience a lot down here, the short following distances are better so people don't cut you off as much. But when somebody does cut you off, if they're coming in right from the side, very close to you, be aware of that and just hit the brakes, you know, if it seems like they're real close, because the system is primarily looking forward. It doesn't have the greatest peripheral vision. So, you know, you always have to keep in mind, you're in control. You're driving the car, you have to pay attention, and you have to make those judgment calls. And I don't like using the system to follow motorcycles. I usually either disable it or just change lanes so I'm behind something else. I've done a lot of these videos. I didn't actually check the owner's manual on this Volvo. Sometimes in the owner's manual, it'll explicitly say, does not function following a motorcycle. They will lock onto motorcycles usually, but it just makes me nervous because it's a smaller target. And if the car gets confused and you hit somebody on a bike, that's just like so much worse than hitting somebody in a car. And slowed down quite a bit to let that guy go, and now we're on our own. Now see, this is where you have to pay attention, because I'm accelerating, but I can see the traffic ahead of me is stopped, so I'm just going to hit the brakes. And I am going to bring the car to a complete stop on my own. And there you go. Because you are driving the car, you're in charge. So again, if you're not locked on, you know, if I would have just let the car do what it wanted to do, it probably would have been fine, honestly. It would have accelerated for a little while. We only would have gone up to 45 miles per hour because that's where I have the maximum speed set, and it probably would have seen the car in front of us in time, brought itself to a complete stop, no harm, no foul. But I just like to hit the brakes and be in control in situations like that. And now I can just hit the little resume button, let the motorcycle go by, and start cruising again. We are locked on to the chalk-colored Porsche Macan in front of us. Only other real warning, other than everything else I've already said, if it's, you know, real heavy rain or snow or ice, probably best not to use the system in those conditions, because you want to be completely in control of the car at that point. And if it's just light rain, then, you know, use a longer following distance as you would during your normal driving routine. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the adaptive cruise control and the pilot assist in a Volvo XC90. So if you have any questions about these systems, please go ahead and leave me a comment, and I'll do my best to answer your question. Please like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate you watching. Always drive safely, watch the road, keep your hands on the wheel, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.